Good evening, caller 0634. Could you please identify yourself? Hello, 0634.
I was on mute too.
Oh, good evening.
Hello.
Mr. Marcoux.
It's Adam Marcoux. Hi, Heather. Adam Marcoux, President of the Nashua Teachers Union. I apologize for being on mute. That seems to be the story of my life right now. Briefly, I just wanted to comment on the proposal that the school principal sent forward this evening in your packet. It does tweak the hybrid plan somewhat. I am greatly concerned about the number of students and staff that may be leaving the New England area during the Thanksgiving and holiday breaks and then returning to Nashua at the conclusion of those. I've already spoken to numerous staff who have those concerns because it's their turn to take care of their mother or father who's aging and they're outside of New England. We have teachers and staff that need to go pick up their students from college in other places abroad outside of New England. And according to the rules right now, once you leave New England, you return regardless of your status. It's a 14-day quarantine. And I'm concerned of those who may leave and not tell anyone, those who do, and who's covering their students in classes, especially if the hybrid plan for right after Thanksgiving is to bring students back in and we have second and third grade teachers and staff out quarantining. Where are those hybrid kids going on those days? I know we need kids back in school. I would love to send my two back tomorrow. Right now, I'm concerned about the number of staffing, the staff we have, and on the numbers that continue to rise in New Hampshire. Whether or not you agree with how the virus spreads or how you agree with whether kids are spreaders or not, I'm going to follow with what the science says. And the science is saying it's an increase, and we should expect a large increase. And that even came out of the mouth of our governor earlier this week. So the hybrid plan is not unique to Nashua. The city of Dover, the city of Rochester, the school district that comprises of Timberlane, there's 5 different districts, the city of Berlin, all of those school districts right now are using a remote plan between Thanksgiving and coming back after the new year. I think the plan that the principals rolled out is unique because we do go back into a hybrid model for some of the students that were already in December until we leave for the winter holiday break. So I know some of my comments may not be popular. However, I think it's important to recognize the concerns that many have who are asking the right questions and trying to do the right thing while taking care of their families under these rules of quarantine that was not established by the school district, but established by the state of New Hampshire, which we are required to follow. And I think we need to take that into consideration while we plan for the coming weeks in trying to get everyone back into school safely. Thank you.
I'm sorry, thank you for waiting, caller 0634. Please go ahead.
Ms. Raymond, I would wait for this board until time stood still. This is Adam Marcoux, President of the Nashua Teachers Union. Love is such a strong word tonight. I don't know if I'd use that word, and I just refrain that there are POPs policies that I'm bound to follow, okay. So I'll leave it at that.
All right, so you tolerate us. I got it.
Yeah, I'm a little, I'd be lying if I didn't say I wasn't hot under the collar right now with some of the comments that came from members of this board tonight. I actually took notes tonight, which is unusual for me, not to speak off the cuff when I'm speaking in public comment, but I have notes tonight. One of the things real quick that one of the parents said about loosening the belts, if you will, around the credentialing of substitutes, et cetera. That's actually a state law. The RSA requires a a certified educator in front of students after 20 consecutive days, school days. So we don't have the liberty of having that choice to loosen the RSA. So while I understand what the caller was saying, we don't have that choice, and I would be hesitant to have non-certified educators in a role teaching subjects without the proper credentials in place. In terms of the cameras, they were talking about having teachers zoom in remotely to their kids in the classroom, which sounds like a reasonable idea, except there's no supervision of those students if the teacher's not there. We only have so much staff per building, and if you're rolling back in kids without the proper supervision, as many of our principals have said tonight, we run into big problems. I was going to address Ms. Bishop's comment from earlier where she referred to her Biden stutter, but she has already addressed that and apologized for those comments, and I appreciate her taking responsibility for that and acknowledging that. Finally, we're making a lot of assumptions about the staff of this district when it comes to the next month or so with traveling. Every teacher and staff member that I spoke to regarding their plans for what they had to do was not a joyride to go down to Disney World and get on Splash Mountain, have a grand old time eating Mickey Mouse ice cream. Every person that I spoke to, it was because it was their turn to help their elderly parent, and in some cases, like mine, it might have been their elderly grandparent, where they had to go and get their child from college. They didn't ask for this quarantine to be in place. Most of them are going because they have to. And we're all making assumptions that those who are traveling are the ones that don't want to come back to work or can't come back to work. And we have no basis to make those assumptions. We have plenty of teachers and staff who would have gone back on the first day of school that would go back tomorrow if we asked them. We have some, as you saw that Ms. O'Gara showed, that are out for whether it's FMLA, EFMLEA, or ADA. And I'm sorry, those are federally legislated statutes that every person in this district has the legal right to take with the legal documentation from their medical provider. And when we talk about FMLA, we're not talking about a vacation. We're talking about, oh, we just had a baby. Oh, I'm in cancer treatments. Oh, I'm caring for my dying mother. Oh, I just broke my leg and needed, 16 pins put in my leg. We're not talking about joyrides. And then EFMLEA, we have people that have no family in this area, that have no one to watch their children when their daycare is closed under the statute. Under the CARES Act that was approved and signed into law in March, it was an expansion of FMLA that allowed 12 weeks of leave to take care of this situation. And we're running into problems that wasn't going to be enough, so because some places haven't returned. And we'll have to address that. The Americans with Disabilities Act allows reasonable accommodations to people that had pre-existing conditions. And one of those reasonable accommodations is working remotely. I can guarantee that if we could go back to March 12th and never have had to deal with this, we'd be back in a heartbeat. I echo what Mr. Richard said when he said he didn't become a principal to be a principal in an empty school. Our staff did not become teachers and paras and secretaries and work in schools to work in empty schools. That's just not what they want to do. We're dealing with this situation as best we can. Those who need the leave have put in for it and have the proper documentation, and Ms. O'Gara has approved that based on federal legislation, and everyone is squared away. We can't take that away from them We should not be assuming people are going away on vacation and then they're not willing to come to work, because we have no idea why they're going and what they're doing. And the only ones that I can address are the several dozen of those people that are worried about getting their kids, taking care of their family, and now I have to quarantine. What am I going to do? So I'm going to leave it at that. I look forward to the Curriculum and Evaluation Committee meeting next week. I would hope and ask respectfully that there be public comment available at that meeting via Zoom. Typically, the committee meetings don't have public comment, but I would appreciate if there was some way that we could make that happen next week. Thank you.